Yeah.
So throughout the book, it always says, in a word, so it'll give this long description, right? And then it says, in a word, I was blah, 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 blah. So in a word, just one word, in a word, describe Robinson Crusoe so far.
Shipwrecked.
Nice.
Daring.
Reckless.
Prideful.
Ooh, good words. That's awesome. Okay, so I am going to share my screen. Start screen share. That, yep, share. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Have to let the cat in.
Play my PowerPoint. Going to use my phone as a remote, I think. Try this. Okay.
This is Cat.
So if you don't already have your Robinson Crusoe book to refer to, or I mean, study guide might be helpful too.
I have all that stuff with me.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Come on. Select this one. Done. Okay. Play. Aha! Yay. All right. Okay. So the quick agenda is we're going to be, Allison is going to, she prepared a little biography, Daniel Defoe, and then we're going to do our chapter summaries. And I will have you guys hold up your illustrations and talk about it, and talk about your quotes and all that good stuff. We're going to discuss the importance of vocabulary, having a good vocabulary, and discussion questions, and then I'll show you your assignments for next week. So, with no further ado, Miss Allison, do you have your notes for him? Okay, but when you...
Wait. Oh, I think I have a... Sorry.
There they are.
Oh.
Okay. So let's see. Here's your... Okay.
Yes, so Daniel Defoe lived in London for his whole life. He was born on September 13th in 1660. He is known for many of his writing.
Is it working? There.
That's a really bad drawing. Let's see.
A quill pen. Okay.
Yeah, I know. He's known for writing Robinson Crusoe, Moll Flanders, Journey of the Plague Year, and Roxana in 1719 through 1724. In 1725 through 1727, he began writing books that are focused more on politics and morals, which got him in trouble with the government and eventually put him in jail. Okay. Let's see. Some of his jobs include a butcher, a writer, a merchant, but several times he was heading towards bankruptcy. His original name was James, but what happened? Okay, it just restarted.
Okay.
His original name was James Defoe, but he changed it to sound more gentlemanly and sophisticated.
To Daniel. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
A lot of people thought he was Robinson Crusoe because his prison history and his anger history.
Explain. What do you mean by his anger history?
Like he would get into fights. Like one time, he thought like a person had stole from him, and he got like really angry. And yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and let's see. He was the father of the English novel, and in 1684, he married Mary Tuffley and had 8 children. He influenced many stories like Gilligan's Island, Castaway, Lost, and Martian. Let's see. And in April 24th, 1731, he died.
Nice.
Looks like a tongue's coming out of his nose. Okay,
Well,
never mind.
yeah.
Okay, the end.
Cool.
Turned it off again. Dang it.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay. Did you have anything about Daniel Defoe? Have you come across anything that was interesting?
No, I didn't really research him at all.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity now. Let's see. We have chapter 1 here and chapter 3. You guys can summarize chapter 2 together. Okay. So, Henry, if you want to get your illustration and your one quote that expresses the main action in your chapter, and any vocabulary words that you found that were interesting. Right, I'm going to go out of screen sharing mode so that we can see you, and then I'll go back into screen sharing mode. Let's see. Think.
Pause share.
No, go back. I can't see the pause share. There we go. Thank you. Okay. So now you can no longer see my screen, right?
I still see it.
Okay, wait. Maybe, darn it. I want to stop the share. How do I stop share?
Stop share. Where it says stop sharing.
Yeah, I know, but I can't. Here. Okay, there. Now maybe I can. Okay, now we can see Henry. Woohoo! Okay.
Okay, so this is my drawing. Can you see it? It's
Hold it down a little bit.
There we go.
Wait, a little bit more. A little bit more. There. What? A little bit up. Right in front of your face. That's where we want to see it. Right there. Perfect.
It's a drawing of Robinson Crusoe when he went to Hull, and like his friend asked him like, "Come on the ship." He's like, "Okay," so that's basically when he left.
All right. Nice.
And then the quote I found is from when they were at sea, and there was something that Robinson Crusoe thought was a storm. And so his companion says, "A storm, you fool. You call that a storm? Why, it was nothing at all. Give us but a good ship and sea room, and we think nothing of such a squall of a wind as that." So it's basically like seeing how little Robinson Crusoe knows of sailing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was on page 9 of my version.
Okay.
Which is the Puffin Classics version.
And that was the chapter in which Robinson Crusoe talked about his father's advice, right? Like how his dad explains that his brother died in a war, and that was that chapter?
I don't remember talking about his brother died in a war. I just remember, like, he said, like, stay in the middle station, because if you're rich, then you do dumb things, and if you're poor, then you have to do dumb things. So stay safe, and then you'll be happy. But he didn't really follow that advice.
Nope. He did not.
Okay. Can you guys, let's see, what was chapter 2? What was the title of chapter 2?
Here, wait.
You can look.
It's
See if
like
you can.
right.
What version of the book do you have?
We have this one.
Okay. Yeah, I have the Puffin Classics one. This one. Let's see, where is it?
Oh,
Ah,
okay.
And it doesn't like have any chapter titles or anything.
yeah, we had one like that, and so we went to Barnes & Noble and we got this one.
I found one that, yeah. So,
Yeah, and the weird thing is, like, you listed in the study guide that there were 20 chapters, but mine only has 15. So.
okay, so I taught this book 4 years ago, and so I was going through the resources that I had from 4 years ago, and one of the resources that I created was a table, like with different versions and what to read. So
Yeah, I saw that.
okay, so that one, I did post that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I saw it. It's just confusing because, like, when you list the chapters for us to summarize, next week is in the study guide 4 through 7, but for my reading it's 4 through 6, so I don't know which chapter is which, really.
okay, hang on.
The ones I'm supposed to summarize.
Let me see if I can find that Robinson Crusoe. Oh, shoot. Okay, while I look for this, you guys can discuss the chapter 2.
Okay.
And you can kind of tell him the title and.
Yeah, so chapter 2 was Slavery and Escape. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That was when he got captured by the Moor.
And that's also when he left and went to the one island.
Where there were no people.
Scared by those strange sounds.
Yeah. So he got captured because he was going to Guinea and he made some money. Then he went again and he got captured. And then he escaped. And then he went to the deserted island. And that's how it ends, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen again so you can see this. So, let me go back. On Edmodo, under folders, resources, quarter 3 resources, you're going to see this Robinson Crusoe reading guide.
Yeah.
So, I have a Puffin Classics book version here. This is the one that the study guide was written for.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Okay, so it's 1 through 38. Pages 1 through 38, and this is a different version here. I also have this Penguin Classics version, but all other reading and listening options. So you're just gonna have to listen or watch for these key things. So
pay attention.
You read until end when Crusoe wrecks on island. Okay, and then you pick up next week, or this on Wednesday, I guess, tomorrow, for week 17. You'll begin reading with I was now landed and safe on shore, and end with but when I had done this, I was unable to stir it up again, referring to his efforts to upright the wrecked boat. Stop before he talks about building a canoe. So it's going to be more challenging if you don't have either the, Puffin Classics version or a version with chapters, but it's still possible. You just have to listen for these key things.
Yeah. Like for week 17, I was assigned to summarize chapter 7, but since the reading for me is chapters 4 through 6, I don't know exactly like what chapter 7 is.
Okay. All right. That just means I just need to I will look at Allison's version and do the same thing. So I'll adjust the assignments to say chapter 7 begins with blah, blah, blah and ends with, okay?
Okay. Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Okay. I can do that. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Allison can summarize.
Okay, so
Chapter 3.
this good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was my drawing. Yeah, that's good. So it tells about how he was wrecked on this island. Then he was rescued by this ship, and then he got to a place where he had a plantation and lots of money and food and a house. But then another ship came, and they said if he went with them and like helped them with the ship and stuff, they would like give him like a bunch of free slaves. And so he took that, and then he got shipwrecked and was on a little raft
or something.
Yeah.
Wood. Yeah.
And then he went to this new island, and
that's where it ended.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Oh, read your quote.
But I was born to be my own destroyer and could not resist the offer. Page 69.
Okay. And why does that quote summarize?
46. I don't know. I said 69.
Why does that quote summarize your book or your chapter?
Because it's like the main part of him is him like right here, and then like
Brazil.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was Brazil.
This was like Gahani or something. But then like it tells like why he went over here, because he was his own destroyer.
Cool. Okay.
Bum bum bum.
Do you guys have? Let's see. Do you have your? Did you want to share your? Did you do the journal? Journal
Yes.
entries with the.
Yeah. Where is it?
The ship plug or whatever. So the journal's a little bit different this time. It's on in your study guide on page 3 of your study guide. It explains like you could that you're supposed to be like a character alongside on this journey with Robinson Crusoe, and you like talk about what's going on. So okay, who wants to go first?
I can.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, my character is a parrot. So yeah. So squawk. This new Crusoe fellow is quite daring. He left his father's house, got sold into slavery, then decides to come here. But he has good character for a Holly, so he's kind of nice. But wait, he's offered to go on another ship to, how do you pronounce that?
Guinea?
Oh, for Guinea. And he would get free slaves. And he goes to see, and he goes on the sea that he swore he would never sail upon again. I should go with him, even if it does ruffle my feathers. Seems like trouble seems to follow him.
Nice. Okay. So you were a parrot. You chose your character as a bird, a parrot.
Yes.
And where did the bird come from? Like when did he join up with Robinson Crusoe?
I'm just thinking that he's like on the Brazil.
Oh, okay. It's on Brazil. Okay, cool. That's creative.
My character is just someone he traveled with from the beginning. So my first entry is Robinson Crusoe and I just left Hull. He has a thirst for adventure and wanted to go to sea. He convinced me to come too, and here I am. And then the next one, I loved the ship, but when the storm came, it got dicey. The storm wrecked the ship. Even the sailors were scared. Thankfully, another ship came and saved us. And then the last one, after being captured by Moors and escaping from them, Robinson and I found ourselves on a deserted island. There were wild animals, but no humans. After about a week, we found a ship. The captain took care of us and brought us to Brazil.
Nice. That's good. That sounds, and it, you can see how it also kind of summarizes what happened in the, in your reading as well. So that sounds good. Good job. All right, let's see. Screen share. We're going to go back to my PowerPoint or Keynote. Okay. Okay, so vocabulary. Why is it important, do you guys think, to study, to understand the words that you're reading?
Because it gives us what this was a new thing for them back then. So it seems like what life was like back then, and also to learn from Crusoe's mistakes.
Vocabulary?
Yeah, because they use some words that we don't use anymore.
Oh, there you go. That's what I wanted you to focus on. It's words that we don't really use anymore. So can you understand what you're reading if you don't understand the words?
No.
Not really.
It kind of hinders your reading comprehension, doesn't it? So there we go. You're right. Understanding the meaning of words helps you comprehend what you're reading. So how do you do this?
You study the words and
show what you've done.
Yeah.
What are these flags that you've made?
I highlight them and then I go back and I study them.
Okay. So Allie has, I'll show you when I stop screen sharing, but she's made she highlights the words that are new to her and then puts a little flag on them. So make a list of unfamiliar words. And in class, we would have made a list, I would have had you guys look through your books and find unfamiliar words. And we would have made a list on the board with it. Some of the words could be found in the vocabulary of the study guide.
I can still get a whiteboard.
It's okay. We don't have all that long, so. Okay. So here's a word that Allison has found. Choose one of those words.
Jibbed.
I think it's jibed.
Oh, jibed? Oh, I know what jibed means.
You do? What do you think it means?
It's just once you say something to a person, it's like you jibed them.
Oh, okay.
It's like an adjective to a way that you talk to someone.
What do you have a guess? Jibed. It's J-I-B-E-D. Jibed. Do you have a guess?
I don't know. At first I thought it was stabbing someone, but then I realized that was jabbed, not jibed.
Mhm.
Maybe it's like poke fun of someone or something.
Okay.
I don't
So-
really.
One of the ways that we can infer the meaning that is to, let's see. Well, first we're gonna read the text. So this is the sentence that it came in. She, referring to the ship, she sailed with what we call a shoulder of mutton sail, and the boom jibed over the top of the cabin, which lay very snug and low, and had in it room for him to lie, with a slave or two, and a table to eat on, with some small lockers to put in some bottles of such liquor as he thought fit to drink, and his bread, rice, and coffee. So again, it's, and the boom jibed over the cabin.
Is that like echoed? Or like reverberated?
When we talk about a ship, let's find out what a boom is. So we talk about a ship. Do we know what a boom is on the ship?
I thought a boom was
I think it's like part of the ship,
Mm-hmm.
like part of the deck or a mast or something.
So we can look that up.
Should I just tell you?
Do you know what it is?
Sure, you can tell us.
So the mast is what holds the sail up,
Uh-huh.
and then the boom is the part that sticks out of the bottom that holds the mast out. It swings around, that holds the sail, and hits you in the head if you don't duck as it goes by on a small boat. That's called the boom.
The boom. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
So if the word that we're looking for is jibed, and it says the boom jibed over the top of the cabin.
So the boom.
Maybe like the boom. Maybe it's like a synonym of swung. Like the boom swung over the top of the cabin.
Yeah, because a jibe is, you can tack or you can jibe with the boat. You can turn into the wind or away from the wind, a tack and a jibe. And when you turn and relate the boat in relation to the wind, the boom jibes over the deck or swings over the deck.
Huh. This says it's a change course by swinging a fore and aft sail across the following wind. They jibed, and the boat turned over.
Yeah. So you can do two things with the boat. You can tack or you can
Okay.
jibe. You can turn into the wind or away from the wind.
Well, there you go. See, we just learned a new word. So determine what part of speech is jibe.
Jibe.
It's
Not an adjective, verb.
It's
Do you agree? It's a
I
verb?
think it's a verb. Yeah.
it's a verb. Yeah.
It's a verb.
Yeah.
You just said you can either
Yeah.
tack or jibe, and that's something
Yeah.
that you do.
That's true. Yes.
Cool. You could also look for the roots of a meaning. So the roots of a word. So some words may sound like other words that you already know.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was like something that you say, because it sounds like chimed.
Right?
Yeah.
So if it sounds like another word, you can and you know the what that word means. Let's see, like this one. Okay.
Actually, that,
How about expostulated?
ooh, sounds like something blew up.
So she found another word. It's expostulated. EXPOSTULATED. Expostulated.
I think that's like explaining something. What's the context?
That's really a good question. Okay, so expostulate maybe does sound like explain, right? It's a word that you know that sounds similar.
It sounds like explosion to me.
Here's the sentence. He called me one morning into his chamber, where he was confined by the gout, and expostulated very warmly with me upon this subject.
Yeah, I think it is explained.
It's probably very similar to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Postulate. Yeah. Okay. So then at that point, you could actually look it up, see what it means. But I'm giving you tools to use whether you have access to the definition or not. So you can infer the meaning within the context of the sentence. You can figure out what part of speech it is. So he expostulated. What part of speech is that?
Verb.
Verb.
Yeah.
Thank you. To expostulate is to express strong disapproval or disagreement. I expostulated with him in vain. So it sounds like an argument. To discuss, examine, discuss, or reason earnestly with a person. So there you go. Then finally, you can look up the definition. So as you guys read, if you find a word, you can highlight it. I'm going to do a stop share real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Can you see the book?
Yeah.
Okay, so up here at the top, she has flagged. She has a color code. So the purple flags are quotes that she likes, and the red flags are vocabulary words. And then she has highlighted words that she doesn't know in the reading. Okay, so you can do that. And then in class next week, we will look at some of the words that you guys bring and see if we can figure out what they mean.
Okay.
Let's see.
Should we turn in our quotes and vocabulary in the picture from the week? Or do we just keep them to share in class?
Can you bring them on Thursday and we will add your pictures to the big plot line diagram on the wall?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go back and do a screen share, and we're going to, this is taking a lot longer than I thought, so, no. Okay, I'm screen sharing now. Okay, so we're going to talk about a literary term called allusion, A-L-L-U-S-I-O-N, not to be confused with illusion with an I. So an illusion is, can you tell me what an illusion is?
It's something that's not really there.
Exactly. So that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about allusion. Allusion is a reference within a work to something famous outside of it. Okay, so you can have allusions. It's a brief or an indirect reference to a person, place, thing, or idea of historical, cultural, literary, or political significance. But it doesn't describe that event or person in detail, which it refers to. So what that means is, in literature, we often have stories that remind you about Bible stories. Okay, so you'll have a lot of biblical allusions in your literature. You also will have a lot of mythological references in your literature, and sometimes it's a person or other famous pieces of literature. Okay, the best way I can explain this is visually. Okay, Okay, so I have up here, you see the bottom of the screen, it says The Scream by Edvard Munch.
It sounds so Russian. Edward Munch.
It's probably German.
Yeah.
Edward.
Probably German or like Norwegian or something.
You know, okay, so I'm going to click it. It's this. That's the famous picture. So this illusion doesn't have to be only in literature. It can be in a visual sense as well. You can see illusions in movies, and sometimes there's lots of allusions to Star Wars in other movies or TV shows or whatever, for instance, or visual like this. So here we go. Here's an allusion to the scream. Okay. That one's pretty easy to see, right?
Yeah.
How about this one?
Ugh.
You remember that Halloween mask?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a kind of a silly horror movie, and that was the bad guy character. That's where that came from. And you can obviously see that mask is an allusion to the painting. How about this one?
Nope. I mean, he's gone.
Yeah,
Could be.
but it's absolutely an allusion to this painting.
Yes.
Okay. What about this?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Wait.
So
What about this?
So that's illusion, and we're going to discuss that in our questions. The other thing we're going to be talking about is foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is a literary device in which a writer gives an advance hint of what is to come later in the story. Foreshadowing often appears at the beginning of a story or a chapter and helps the reader develop expectations about the coming events in a story. Okay, again, I'm going to give you an image that is going to express this idea. Okay, so you can see that exactly, little Anakin's shadow is Darth Vader.
Ooh.
Ba, ba, ba. Foreshadowing.
I didn't even notice this shadow.
Yeah,
Wait.
you see?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we're going to have our literature discussion. So Crusoe, in the very beginning, the part that Henry summarized, Crusoe dismissed his father's advice to value the middle station. Such a life is not good enough for him. Because, Robinson Crusoe's like, that's not good enough for me. I want to achieve great things, right? I want to be an adventurer. Going on an adventure. Oh, wait, wrong. That was an illusion. What did I just allude to? What movie?
Princess Bride.
Nope.
Wait. Oh, Monty Python.
The Hobbit. I'm going on an adventure.
Well,
Okay.
I think they said both of those. Well, I think.
Okay.
I'm
Anyway.
pretty sure they said that in Monty Python too. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So such a life was not good enough for him. So what sin is Robinson Crusoe in this case guilty of?
Greed.
Greed. Okay. I think it has more to do with he doesn't want to just be in the middle station. He believes he's better than that. If you believe you're pride. There you go. So, let's see. I wanted to be able to see my notes. Okay. Can you think of a Greek story, Greek mythology story, that this could be alluding to?
Odysseus.
Okay.
Icarus.
Quite. Okay. So wait, what did you say?
I said Icarus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So
He wanted
explain.
to like, be awesome and be close to the sun, and he ignored his dad's advice of don't do it.
Also,
Very
Bellerophon.
nice.
Is that his name? Bellerophon?
Okay. Well, explain your.
He was like accused of being prideful, and like eventually got too far that he like actually like killed someone in a duel to try to seem good, and he got in a lot of trouble for that, and then he was exiled and had to go through this training thing.
Mm-hmm.
And once he was done, he he was like given like this like fate thing. It was like, I will give you I will give you the heir to my castle and my beautiful daughter as a wife if you like it was like, I can't remember what, but like he took it and like he eventually like went to the very, very bottom.
Okay. You also mentioned Odysseus earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Was he a prideful character?
I would say so.
And what was the result of his pride?
He wasn't he like turned into an old man? Or that was
No,
just
Odysseus.
He got lost on the way home.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
He traveled
Also King
around and
Midas.
around and around.
Also King Midas.
That
With
is
the golden
not.
touch.
No, that's not pride
That's
necessarily.
greed.
That's greed. Right. Okay, good. Is there any Shakespeare character whose pride caused them to in a disastrous end?
That one guy from Two Gentlemen of Verona. Or
Okay.
I think he was that one.
The one that I can think of, you guys didn't necessarily read, but you may be familiar with the story.
Hamlet. Or I don't know.
I was thinking Macbeth.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because his pride caused him to want to be king, thought he would be a better king. And, just like any Shakespeare tragedy, everybody dies in the end.
Yep.
Yay!
Okay, what about the Bible? Anybody whose pride caused a huge downfall?
That one guy, the one girl that got turned into Saul.
Okay. Yeah. Lot's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Any other?
Judas.
No, that again I think would be greed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably greed.
What about who else? There's two characters of stories in the Bible of
Adam and Eve.
Eve, yeah, Adam and Eve. So how did their pride cause their downfall?
With the apple, or not the apple, the fruit.
Yeah.
They wanted to be like super smart because Satan told them that was the tree of life and it would make them smart.
Excellent. That's really hits the nail right there on the head. So is their pride thinking, I can be like God. Who else wanted to be like God? And eventually,
Satan.
Yes. So what huge sin did Satan commit?
Pride.
Pride. He wanted to be like God. So God cast him out of heaven. Right? And all of the fallen angels with him. So you can see how stories can allude to other famous works. And then the other thing that we talked about was foreshadowing. So if you recall that the commission of the sin of pride has led many to disaster that we just talked about, right? What do you foresee for Robinson Crusoe?
He's gonna get shipwrecked and die. Actually, he's probably not gonna die though, because it's a book about him.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, but still.
He's not gonna die, but he's gonna go through a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
I
He's
think-
gonna like, yeah, it's gonna be, his pride's gonna ruin him.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
But I once read a book where it had like many main characters, and one of the main characters died. But he was a bad character, so. Yeah.
Okay. So, so the second question is, Robinson Crusoe makes one successful trading trip to Guinea, turning 40 pounds silver into 300 pounds sterling. Then he makes a second trip to Guinea, which was not successful. What sin prompted his second trip?
Greed.
Read.
Greed. Very good. Okay. So let's talk about somebody in Greek mythology. That there's a story from Greek mythology that this may allude to.
Midas.
Midas, how?
He wanted the golden touch to make everything that he touched be gold. Like, this is a golden phone now. Probably can't use it anymore, but it's golden. But eventually, like, it got out of hand where, like, if he, like, touched, like, I remember he touched his daughter once, and she turned to gold. And, like, eventually, like, everyone turned to gold.
So it caused him great heartache. His greed ended up causing him great heartache. Good example.
But then he turned it back with
Henry, can you think of a Shakespearean story or character whose greed caused them lots of heartache and downfall?
There was the guy in, I think, the beginning of Tempest who took over the main character's throne. Like the king of Naples, I think.
And what happened?
He got caught in a shipwreck.
Interesting.
Also, I think his name was, it was either Jason, Percy, or the other one. But like, he had his wife Circe, and she loved him and he loved her. But then there was this prettier girl, left him for her, and then like she ended up betraying him. And Circe became a bitch and she went insane. So
Wow. So it's greed of another beautiful woman. Okay. Interesting.
also, she
What about-
began turning people into animals, which is really weird.
And of course, what about the Bible? Any characters whose greed caused their great downfall?
Judas.
Judas Iscariot.
Excellent. Okay, so tell me about him. How much did he get paid?
30 silver somethings.
Excellent.
And then he hanged himself.
So he betrayed Jesus, got paid money, and then hanged himself out of guilt. Wow. Okay, so pride and greed. Don't do them. Don't do them. Okay. Recalling that people suffer, as we just talked about, because of their greed, what do you foresee for Robinson Crusoe?
He's gonna lose all his money.
Yep. And his plantation, all of his tobacco. He has lots of tobacco.
Right. Gonna lose all of his stuff. Suffer. All right. Good job, guys. Good discussion. So again, this week 17 starts tomorrow. So these are the chapters that you're in charge of. As I said, I will go through and figure out what words to look for to know what that how that chapter begins and ends so that you know what to read to summarize. Okay. Escape. Let's go back. So this is going to kind of be the format. I will try to make it a little faster because I'm not going to have that much time. You know, a whole hour in class. So I will try to make it go faster, but this is going to be the basic format of our discussions. Okay? Good?
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Happy reading. I guess that's it. Any questions?
No.
All right. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
You two kind of rock. I'm just saying. Amazing.
Well, we live together, so.
All righty. We'll see you later.
Bye.